All right, so as we walk through the gates here, we are invited by these three massive machines. The middle one being this D9 dozer. And wow, this is a machine here. The tracks literally are taller than I am. Look at the blade on this thing. Wow. Videos never do justice. Check out this tiny little guy. I think this is a Bobcat S70. Yeah, this thing has got to be like the tiniest skid steer I've ever seen. Was this powered by a Kubota? Yeah, a little Kubota 3-cylinder. I believe that's a D922 or something like that, or D722. Not sure. So I've actually been wanting to get one of these compact track loaders for a long time now. I think one of these TL8s would be perfect. And this one looks pretty nice here. Actually, this TL6R would probably fit me even better. Let's see if this thing starts up. Yeah, so the tracks are completely shot on this thing. When I was turning it, it felt like it was actually jumping one of the lugs on it. Maybe it was a piece of rock caught in it or something, but it didn't feel the best. So it will definitely need some new tracks. It doesn't have that many hours. It's only got like 1,200 hours, so it's crazy how this thing's so beat up like this. Yeah, definitely this track over here that was popping or something. So I'll keep an eye out on this machine. It might be just a ticket. We'll see how much it goes for. So let's head on towards the back of the property, see if we can find the in-op aisle. I'm kind of curious to see what one of these 45 by 25 metal garage kits go for. I kind of want one a little bit bigger than this, but I don't know, that might do. And of course, we have all our Chinese attachments. Got a little cement mixer here, that might come in handy. And we have all our little mini excavator stuff. That would have been nice to have for my mini excavator, but I'm probably going to get rid of it soon. I need a much bigger excavator. What is this thing? I'm guessing some kind of cedar? Yeah, it's got to be some kind of like cedar or something. So I found the in-op aisle, but there's not that much here. We have this little Gale skid steer that it's got a nice little Yanmar engine. I don't know why it's sitting back here like this. It looks fairly decent. It's got some trees growing through it and a brand new set of tires and wheels. I doubt it will start up, but we'll just try it. Yeah, looks like somebody left a key on that thing. It's been sitting here a while because it has moss and trees growing through it. 250 hours? That might be right. It's kind of a shame to see this thing sitting out here like this. Got a little trencher that's pretty rusted solid. Wonder if it turns over. It does. Look at that hour meter on there. Thing is shot. All right, let's go see what else we can find here. So here's a graveyard of some of these new Chinese little track loaders. These things have been sitting out here for a long time. I don't know why. Maybe somebody just never picked them up, or they never sold, or they have issues. But gosh, these things are brand new and they're all rusted. Who knows what the deal on these things are. They're way back here in the back, so I don't even know if they're for sale. But these things are destroyed and they have no use on them. I mean, this whole thing's broken off of it. This thing usually would slide in right here. Yeah, this batteries are shot on them. Nothing. So I don't need anything like this, but I thought it was pretty interesting. This is a tar sprayer, I guess, for like a parking lot or whatnot. And it has all these little hydraulic cylinders. I believe these are air cylinders. I don't think they're hydraulic, but they could be. Those do look like hydraulic cylinders. So I don't know how well they work with all that tar built on them. That thing is caked with tar. I'd be really surprised if this thing still works at all. So it looks like we found the forklift scrapyard. Take a look at some of these guys. I do need a forklift pretty bad. I went to a city auction and I came across a really nice Yanmar diesel forklift about this size. I lost a bid on it, so I was pretty upset about that. This looks probably the best one over here so far. It doesn't have the propane tank. We do have lights coming on. Nice. Oh, that didn't last long. Yeah, probably just throw a propane tank on this thing and it would run. This won't work too good for me though. I need some off-road tires on mine. Now something like this might work. Nice. Yeah, this one runs. Brakes are touchy. So I'll see how much this goes for. Probably too much. It's in actually decent shape if you look closer at it. Looks like we got miles of all this Chinese equipment. I don't really like the drive motors like this. You know, they can get hit and broken. All these lines can get damaged. And I just don't think they're as reliable as an actual final drive unit. Some machines, like the more high-end machines, have a final drive. But all these ones with the motors, I don't like that much. This is the smallest roller I've ever seen. I wonder if this thing will start up. Looks like we have a little breaker. That will probably get water in it in no time. crank this thing, you have to come up here and pull this choke manually. Yeah, that thing would be a nightmare to operate. You have a neutral in the middle, but like as soon as you put it forward, it just takes off. So there's no like, it's either full speed forward or full speed backward. Yeah, if you had like a throttle pedal, it would work a lot better. Also, it has a thing for a vibrating switch, but there's no switch. So how do you turn that off? Here goes a name brand compactor. This thing should be in the in-op aisle because it does not work. I mean, it definitely needs a new seat and probably needs a new engine on it. I don't know, that thing might run. Battery date's 9/22, so it ran 2 years ago. Y'all check out this old 5-ton. It's got a dump bed on it. Oh, wow. It looks like this tire has seen better days. I think it's a hydraulic dump bed on here as well. But look at that little tiny winch up there. I mean, what is that thing gonna do? I mean, it looks decent, I guess. Oh, well, spoke too soon. Check out that drive shaft. The thing is completely twisted. Looks like it busted off one of the airlines or something right there. I believe this has a Cummins engine in it. It's got some spider webs under there, so it's been sitting for a while. Let's see if we can take a look in this beast. Oh. Door handle looks a little broke. Let's see if we can get in this way. Oh, well, there's a drive shaft. That must go to the back axle there. Alright, now we can get in. Alright. Let's see if we get any power. I doubt it. This thing's been here for a while, it looks like. Yeah, we don't have any power. Looks like our front windshield is missing as well. Looks like we have some dates here. And the newest date, I believe, is 2010. I could be wrong, because all the other, yeah, 'cause here's the one before it is 2002. And we got 96 right there. Those things aren't any good anymore. Let's see if we can lift this hood up. Well, we definitely have a Cummins engine under there, and it looks pretty nice. Looks like it was smashed into a pole. Some headlights falling out. That's a solid bumper, so it hit something pretty hard. But I don't see any frame damage on it. Well, I'm curious to see what this thing goes for. I don't see any lot numbers on it, so it might be kind of hard to find. Somebody left the blinker on this truck. Alright, so I think I found the real in-op aisle. So in my last Richie Brothers video, this same exact machine was here. And I cannot believe it's still here. That's been like 2 years ago. But yeah, this is a massive crane. I don't remember it being this bad, but it looks like they had recently just moved it here because you can still see the tire tracks. Man, look at them wheels on there. Everything is just completely destroyed. It's still got a lot of good parts on here. Steering shaft is completely out of there. Wow. Found some more machines. This TB260 looks like it was just slid in here, so it obviously doesn't run. We also got an old Michigan loader. This thing is really rough. I think I remember this being here as well. Yeah, this thing, old Detroit diesel. Obviously it's locked up with nothing covering the exhaust. Yeah, that thing is, the air compressor's locked up. It will take a lot of work, but I don't think there's any hope for it. So besides this Michigan loader, it looks like we have this Takeuchi TL10, and it's got some radiator shrouds in there and many other engine parts. So we are definitely in the in-op aisle here. So I can't seem to get this cover open. We're missing some parts here. Looks like they just recently pushed a lot of these machines over here. Yeah, this thing is shot. Definitely have to get some new tires for it as well. So if I remember correctly, this ASV has been sitting here since the last time I was here, which was a year or two ago. And it seems like a lot of the people that I ask, they've been here and this thing was already here before they got hired on. So I believe these have a Perkins engine in them, so most likely that's the issue. Yeah, Perkins. A lot of vines growing around it as well. If I remember right, this thing only had like 600 hours. Yeah, 437 hours. It's crazy. It probably wouldn't take much. Probably a whole engine rebuild. Check out this old bus here. FedEx truck. Looks like it was in an accident. I wonder what's wrong with this 27D. I don't see a key in it. It's a little sloppy, but I've seen a lot worse than that. Looks like a lot of the slop's actually in this pin right there. Here's an old Jaguar. I wish I would have brought my jump starter with me. See how much this thing goes for. Got an old neglected John Deere tractor, and there's no power to it. So here's another TB240, and this one looks in a whole lot nicer shape. Almost too nice for what I want. Well, it's not doing anything. It looks to be pretty decent though. It's got new tracks on it, or newer tracks. Take a look at this one, because this is about the size machine that I'm looking for. So I think this whole area here is like a staging area where they clean a lot of the machines up. I have been looking for a diesel truck, so I might look at this one. So they'll probably get that one charged up. Yeah, this thing doesn't crank up at all, so probably just a dead battery. I left my jump starter. I don't have time to get it. We'll see what this one goes for. It looks like we have boom lift alley here, which I don't need. I just got one about this size. And it's been doing pretty well. Same exact one I got. See if this one starts up. Seems like it works pretty good. Well, all right, guys. Today is the day of the auction. Well, actually, it's the second day, and I bid it on a few things. So we got this forklift. I'm actually the winning bid at $1,200. We have 42 seconds left. We'll see how that goes. So this is a Nissan 2014. I was outbid. I don't think I'm gonna go much higher on that. I'll go to 1,400. And that's it. So I'm the highest bidder again. I'm gonna leave it at that. This thing has a lot of hours, 21,000 hours on it. So I did win a set of pallet forks, which I overpaid a little bit because it was a set for 50 bucks that I missed out on. I ended up paying 140. I did win a grapple bucket and a drum roller. All right, well, it looks like I won a forklift. Didn't really want one with the cushion tires. I wanted a more off-road one, but for $1,400, I think that's a pretty good deal. So I've been looking at this Takeuchi TL10. We have 11 minutes left on the auction. It's at $6,000. It's obviously inoperable. I looked at this in person, and it looked pretty rough. You can see the headliner's missing. I mean, we have a whole radiator shroud right here. Air filter housing is right there. There's no key. Who knows how many hours. Tracks are shot. Looks like it hasn't driven in a long time. Again, those sprockets are shot. So yeah, this looks like a perfect machine for me. Oh man. So I've been looking at this John Deere 27D. It's a little bit smaller of an excavator that I really want. I wanted something about a 35G at least, but it's going for pretty cheap. I've been thinking about bidding on it. I looked at this in person at Richie Brothers, but I didn't have a key for it, but it just says on here, could not be started. I'm not sure how many hours are on it. I think this will be a good machine. I wish it was a little bit bigger though. I probably should have bid to 6,100 or so. That was a pretty good deal for this. Oh well, we'll get the next one. All right, well, here's our first loot that we got. Looks like somebody robbed our propane tank. And this one was supposed to run. I'm not getting anything with the key. All right, so the guys are going to get me a tank for it. Let's see what it looks like underneath this thing. Can't lift the seat up any higher without pulling it forward, but I mean, it looks decent. It's got the side shift forks, a little bit of a bend, but yeah, I mean, little rusty chains, but probably from just sitting out here. These cylinders look nice. Looks like we have this probably load scale, I believe. That would be nice to have if I had the screen for it. Brought me a full propane tank, so pretty happy about that. So there might be something wrong with the transmission on this thing. It has very little power. It couldn't even make it over the little fork, so I had to move this whole machine back. Hopefully I can make it through here, but I don't know. It's gonna be a tight fit. Yeah, this is the floor right here, and it's not doing it, so I hope I don't get stuck over here. Yes, this is the floor and it's not doing nothing. I found a grapple bucket. It's pretty nice. Aluminum frame around it. And here is our roller. So that looks like they smashed the couplers. We're all loaded up. Let's head on out of here. Like this fork frame is pretty full of water, so let's drill a hole in it. Got a little bit of water in it. Hey buddy. What you doing, bud? Just hanging out? Hanging out on the trailer, buddy? All right, so we finally got this thing down here. It was kind of an ordeal. For some reason, this thing is not idling up. You give it full throttle, it will basically stay within 1,000 RPM or so. It's not revving all the way up. It's probably something to do with a propane issue, so we'll check into that. But yeah, just getting it down here was really hard. It had no power to make it through any of this, so it would just get stuck. So I ended up having to pull it the rest of the way. Also, the battery was completely dead, but I did put a charge on it. It seems to be holding a charge. And if you can see there, it says 21,333 hours. So this thing's just barely broken in. These Nissan engines are pretty good. So first glances, this thing looks really clean. It doesn't look bad at all. It just has all this like Looks like remnants of a belt. And the belt doesn't look bad, but that alternator pulley down there looks extremely wore in. Looks like we had a new flywheel and a starter. Here's our starter down there. Yeah, it looks fairly new. Let's see what it looks like under the oil cap. Wow. Yeah, that thing looks super clean in there. I know these propane engines run a lot cleaner than, say, a gasoline or diesel engine. Let's see what our air filter looks like. Yeah, that thing looks pretty nice. So before we start it, let's take a look at the oil. Wow, that oil, it looks almost brand new looking. That's crazy. Either they changed it or these propane engines just burn really clean. And I think that's how you can get so many hours out of these engines. I've seen them with like 40,000 hours. So even at 21, 22,000, it's really not that much for these things. There sure is a whole bunch of trash all in this radiator. There's like bags stuck down in there. Wow. There's like so many bags stuck back there. Guess we'll go ahead and check the coolant while we're here. Now, this radiator was actually pretty empty. Had a little bit, but it took a good amount. So I think this bottom cover just pulls out. Uh-oh. Looks like that was popped open. I might have did that, taking the cover off, but it's got fluid in there and it looks really clean as well. All right, so we got it a little bit cleaner. There was a ton of this like black paper dust everywhere, and it was just covering everything. I think a lot of it was this stuff right here. I guess that was being hit by the fan and just blowing dust everywhere. If you look at the starter, it was just replaced at 529.25. So yeah, that was replaced about 6 or 7 months ago. They wrote all over it. 17mm bolt. I guess JR did the work on it. So I got this cleaned up a little bit, and now I can see that this is probably where our hydraulic leak is coming from. So one other issue is that it won't fully idle up. It will only rev maybe 1,000 RPMs. I'm looking at these connections. Somebody's definitely been in here before because there's all this electrical tape. So I'm guessing they were testing these wires, and I'm pretty sure it has something to do with this. This is a motor control. It has an electronic throttle pedal. So when you push this throttle, you're not actually pulling a cable. It's just sending a signal to this electronic motor, and that's what opens and closes the butterfly. I believe this is a solenoid that lets the propane in, and I think that's working fine. it's also shutting off like that. So I'm thinking there's something in this throttle that's not working correctly, to where it's either shutting the throttle completely off or it's not opening up or moving. So So now that I'm getting a closer look, and actually it looks like this is our issue right here. Alright, get a new one of those made. It looks like just your standard JIC fittings, so that's good. So I did get a new hydraulic line made. Up here, yeah, I think it's shutting us down because the battery is weak. So I'm gonna put a new battery in this thing and see if that fixes it. So I'm getting a P1815 code, and that is either associated with our air fuel mixture, which could be our oxygen sensor, mass airflow sensor, or something with the propane injection. So I'm just going to start taking some of this apart. I want to check the valves here. I want to check the mass airflow sensor and the O2 sensor. There is actually a bunch of like nasty sediment in there. So you can see there's actually like some grease and buildup. It's all in here, and that will affect these valves from opening. So we're getting propane. So yeah, there's a lot of like carbon buildup in there. So it's probably just something sticking. Let's check our mass airflow sensor. Does have a pretty good bit of carbon on it. Let's see if our throttle body moves down in there. Yeah, I can see it's moving in there. So I got some mass airflow sensor cleaner. So let's get some of these connections pulled off, and that way we can go ahead and check all the solenoids and valves on it. There's our throttle body. I'm just gonna use some throttle body cleaner. Clean these jets out. Alright, I'll work on getting this all cleaned up. Alright, so I got all this cleaned up the best I could. So let's get it all buttoned back up. So before we install our O2 sensor, let's go ahead and test it. So we have a 4-wire O2 sensor, and first we want to test our heater wires. And your heater wires are usually the same color. In this case, they're both white. We also have a black, which is our ground, and we have a gray wire, which is our signal wire. So we're going to test our heater wires first. So we're going to set it on ohms. So we'll just test both of those, putting our leads on both wires. If it does nothing and you have an open circuit, then the O2 sensor is bad. So we're getting 3.6 ohms. So our heater circuit seems to be fine. Now, in order to test the rest of it, we need to go ahead and install it in the machine and then back probe both our signal wire and our ground. And that should fluctuate while it's heating up. Get our mass airflow sensor reinstalled. So I kept getting a battery light come on, and this battery was dead when I first tried to start it. I went ahead and charged it up, and it actually cranked the vehicle up no problem, but when I hook a meter to it, I'm only getting 2.7 volts. I have no idea how this thing is cranking up with only 2.7 volts. So I picked up a new battery here, and when I hooked the leads to it, it has 12.6 volts. So I have no idea how this thing was starting on 2.7 volts. But let's go ahead and get the new battery swapped out and see if all this fixes our issue. Okay, 12.6 volts, so we're good. That's pretty cool. These cover pieces come off. So this is what is called the vaporizer, and it basically takes liquid propane and turn it into a gas. This right here is our solenoid that allows the propane to go into the vaporizer. I believe there's a little filter in here, so let's take that cover off and see what we find. We have some residual propane in there. Yeah, there's a little filter. There's a little bit of trash down in there. And I'll go ahead and get this filter cleaned out. So on the bottom of our vaporizer, we have a drain plug, and a lot of times these vaporizers can get full of like a jelly tar. Oh yeah, there's definitely some residue in there. So that stuff right there will definitely clog up little passageways and jets. So there's a big puddle of stuff dripping out of this thing, and it is a big waxy glob. So I'm gonna kind of speed up this process by shooting some cleaner down there, but just sitting, this stuff has already dripped out a lot, and it's almost like a grease, pretty much like a greasy tar. But the stuff hardens up like a wax, and that will block all kinds of stuff up. A lot of junk coming out of there. Alright, got our filter cleaned out. That thing actually had a pretty good bit of stuff in it as well. Okay, we got our two jumpers hooked up on our signal and our ground. We have our meter set to volts DC. When we crank it, we should see fluctuations in the meter. Stopped at 0.9 volts. That means it's in a closed loop now. It shouldn't get above that. So our O2 sensor is working perfectly. All right, so I got some of this wax-based chain lube. Let's try it out. So yeah, this thing's working pretty good, but we got to do something about these tires. I was almost thinking if I could find some pneumatic tires to bolt on there, that would help this thing out so much. For me around here and all this dirt and gravel, it's kind of pointless to have a forklift without pneumatic tires. So let's see if we can do something about that. So yeah, that is not gonna work. Maybe we can add some tread to this. I don't know if they make pneumatic wheels that would fit this. That's what I would really like to find. If any of you guys know of any 8-lug pneumatic wheels that will fit this, please post that in the comments. But for now, we're gonna try something else. All right, well, that seemed to help out a pretty good bit. Let's take it to the same exact spot that we got stuck in and see if we can make it through now. I doubt it's going to be much of an improvement. You know, they're still not pneumatic tires, but if anything helps, I'm good with that. All right, well, I made it through, and this is actually pretty soft right here, and then it hits a little hump, so that made it a little difficult. But before, there was no way I was gonna make it up that, and now I'm able to make it all the way up here. So that definitely was an improvement. It's still not even close to being as good as a pneumatic tire, but at least I can kind of move it around here for now. And when I build a shop, if I do keep this thing, it will definitely help out on a concrete floor. So that's what these are meant for. But it seems to be running pretty good, so I'm happy about that. So I also got these attachments, the Scrapple bucket. I've been needing one of these things for a long time. And this one actually seems to be built pretty well. I know on a lot of them where they have this connection here, it doesn't have those two side gusset pieces. It just has that one bar in the middle, so those are really cheap. This one actually seems to be pretty well made. I mean, the metal is really thick on it. It has these bosses welded on up here. And this vibratory roller seems to be pretty good as well. It has this big old bearing, which you can grease on the outside. Same with on this motor here. You can grease the bearing, and if that bearing goes out, it's easily replaceable. And it has this one-way check valve. Metal seems really thick on this as well, unlike some of the cheaper ones. So I can't use these on my skid steer that I have now. I don't have a Bobcat style quick attach. Mine's a lot smaller, so I'll have to weld on some ears if I want to use that. However, I have different plans for these things. I did pick up one more item from the auction, but that is going to be in the next video. So until then, I appreciate you guys hanging out with me and going to the Richie Brothers auction, taking a look at some junk and some new stuff, and I will see you guys on the next video. So y'all take care. Later.